to my channel. My name is Kenza James. For our new and old subscribers, you're all welcome to today's tutorial where I'm going to be showing you how to draft the pattern for a lapel jacket and a Revere collar. So we're not going to be doing the sleeve today. The concentration, as a matter of fact, is not going to be on the jacket but on the lapel side and the Revere collar side. I'm going to be using our pattern master, our nice brown paper or a pattern paper. Anyone you have at hand will be fine. A marking pen, I have two, I don't know which I'm going to be using, a paper, scissors, and a really nice tape. So let's get into drafting. So guys, the first thing I'm going to be doing is determining the length of the jacket. So I'm going to be using 28 inches. So I'll just mark 30 inches because the 28 inches I'm going to be needing 2 inch for hemming allowance. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark the length of the jacket here. Then from that point I'm going to go ahead and mark 3.5 inches. From this point I'm marking 3.5 inch inwards like so. Then I'll mark 3.5 inch like this, and that will be my starting point. Now I'm leaving that 3.5 inches because I'm going to be needing that point for the lapel collar. So I'll just connect this point like so. So if you do have your basic bodies, you can just go ahead and trace it off, then leaving this 3.5 inches. But I'm drafting a new one for the benefit of those who are not able to draft the basic bodies. But I'm going to be marking, I'll be linking a tutorial on basic bodies up here. So if you don't know how to do that, go ahead and watch that tutorial, because in this video I'm just going to be concentrating on the front side alone, because that's where all the work is. So from this point now, which is my starting point, I'm going to go in by 3 inches, which is our regular neckline, and then 8 inches standard shoulder. From that 8 inches I'm going down by 1 inch for our shoulder slants. Now the 8 inches is half of your shoulder measurement because we are working on one side of the front. So I'm going to extend this slanted line because my shoulder is actually 18 inches, not 16 inches. So half of it is 9 inches. So from this 8 inches point, I'm going to make an additional 1 inch in front here to give me 9 inches. So from that 9 inch point, I'm going to come down by 9.5 inches. I'm using 9.5 inches because I want my shoulder line, my armhole to be free. I want the jacket to be free as a whole, so that's why I'm doing that. Then I'm squaring my line. Then I'm going to measure from my armhole point to this point is 9 inches. Then I'll mark the 9 inches here as well, so you can see. Then I'm going to go ahead and square this line like so. Now the next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark my affluence point. So I'm going to be marking my affluence point like so. So I'll mark it on this side as well and square out the line. Then I'll go ahead and mark the hem of the jacket, which is 28. Then I'll square that point as well. So I'll just go ahead and square the line as well. Now this side is our hemming allowance. You can go ahead and label your pattern if you have a problem with remembering your lines. So this side is my chest line or the armhole line. This is the affluence line, and this is the length or the hip side. So I'm not going to be adding that because I want it to be a little bit baggy, and just like I said, I'm not concentrating on the bodies. I'm going to be concentrating on the lapel side and the collar side. So I'm marking 1/4 of my bust measurement plus half of an inch for ease. Then I'm marking I'm marking a quarter of my waist measurement plus half of an inch for ease, and a quarter of my hip measurement on the hem side with half of an inch for ease. Now you can decide if you want this side to be sort of shaped out or to be like a box jacket, like going out straight. So whatever you decide, you go ahead and do. Now I'm going to connect my bust to my hip. First off, mind you, I'm not adding any sewing allowance, then I'm going to leave it that way. Now I'm going to do my armhole curve. I'll find half of 9.5. Then I'm going to just go ahead and make my armhole curve like so. So this is our basic bodice. Now the next thing we are going to be doing is our 3 inches slope and 3 inches neck curve. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my curve to do the 3 inches neck curve. So you can see we have our neck curve. So sorry for any noise you may be hearing. We have children in the house and they are really making a lot of noise, so I'm sorry about that. So guys, at this point, since we do not have the back bodies of this plan, mind you, the back is exactly the same as this, except for this space that we have here, the back does not have. But another difference is in the neck. The neck for the back is not this deep, so I'm just going to mark the back neck here just so I can measure that neck side. So I hope you understand what I mean. So I'm going to mark 1 inch down like so. Then I'll connect this side to this back here, which will give me my back which will make up for my back neck depth. So that's why I'm using a separate pen. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, which you should pay attention, close attention at this point, is from this neck, I'm going to move it half of an inch inwards, just so it doesn't choke on the neck, like the collar would sit and relax nicer. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it back to the remaining neck. That's the first thing to be done. Now for the next thing is the button overlap. So on the affluence point, I'm going to come out by 1 inch. You can do 2 inches if you want, but 1 inch is totally fine for me. So that would enable your button overlap. So that's why you need that 3.5 inches that you have here. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect that and square out our lines. So this is it for our button overlap. Now for the lapel side of our collar, what I'm going to be doing is to determine how wide you want it. If you don't want it so wide, that's up to you. I want mine a little bit wide, so not a little bit, I want it kind of wide so that it lies a little bit more. If you don't want it that way, you can just go ahead and do, let's say, 1.5 or 2 inches. So I'm doing 3 inches for mine. So I'm going to mark from this neck point, I'm extending it out by 3 inches. Then I'm going to use my pattern master. Now I'm using my pattern master. I'm not going to put it straight like so. I'm curving. This is totally optional. It just depends on how you want your collar seated. So I'm going to connect this line, but I'm making it slanted, and the slant is sort of going downwards like so. So I'm going to connect it like this. So now what you try to do, is to connect it from this neck side to come out like so. So you can see what I did. This was the initial neck curve, so I just connected it out like this. Now the next thing you would be doing is to use your curve. Don't do this straight, you would not like how it sits. So you use your curved pattern master or any curve that you have and sort of connect like so to that button overlap that you have. So that's what I'm connecting like this. So this is what we have. So for our lapel at this point, this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to be drafting our Revere collar. So the Revere collar is actually where the work is, but if you pay close attention, you're going to get it nicely. And you can go ahead and watch this video over again if you don't get it the first time. Now look at the neck, this back neckline that I'm assuming we have here, like so. This is the back neckline, so I'm just going to label that back. So I'm going to be measuring that back neckline, then I'll measure what I have there up to here. You can see it's 4 inches. So for you should, even for yours, you should get 4 inches as well. I could have just used 4 inches, but I just wanted to give an illustration of what we have at the back, just so you know what I'm doing. That's why I have this line. But at this point, ignore this back line, it doesn't matter. So it's 4 inches. So now, because this our collar is going to sit to on the back neckline, we are going to, from this point where we have the neck of the front, we are going to go up by 4 inches. So I'll mark 4 inches like so, and I'll sort of connect it straight up like so to the 4-inch point. So you can see this is the 4-inch point. Now what I'm going to do is to mark half of an inch on the outer side like so. I'll mark half of an inch there like so. Then I would use my curve now facing outwards. The curve is like facing outwards like so. Then I'll just go ahead and connect that point back to the next side like this. You can see it's a curved line. Now the reason why you're making this a curved line is so that it sits nicely on your neck, so it doesn't look weird. If you have a straight line, it's definitely going to look weird. So the next thing that I'm going to do is to determine how wide you want the collar to sit. And mind you, this is going to be folded in half, so you can go as high or as low as you want. So for these 4 inches here, I will measure what I have there is 4 inches as well. Then I'll come to this side and measure 4 inches. Now the reason why I'm measuring this is so that this line can be as straight as possible. So I will determine how wide I want my jacket collar to be. So I'm going to do 3 inches. So from this point, back point, now this line is no longer valid, so I'm just going to cross this. So I want 3 inches. So from here I'll mark 3 inches, which is here like so. Then I'm going to square out the line. I'll connect the line like so, so you can see. Now the next thing I want to do is from here now, now whatever you do here is totally optional to you, because that's how your jacket will sit. But what I like to do is sort of have my jacket pointed out nicely. So from here, I'll just, from anywhere around my jacket here, I'm going to go ahead and mark. So from this point, which is the regular starting point that we have, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches on a 45-degree angle like this. Then I'm just going to go ahead and connect that point like so. Then I'll connect here to this point. So I'll just go ahead and connect this side like this. So at this point, this is a Revere collar without these things in the middle, right? So you can see this is what it looks like. So this is our Revere collar and everything is looking nice. So by the time we cut it out, we are going to be flipping this side off. But then, so we get clear, I'm going to be tracing out the Revere collar just so you know that it's separate from these bodies, right? Now you're cutting this one separate, you're cutting the body separate. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the bodies. Don't worry about the allowance that I did not add. By the time I want to use this pattern, I'll go ahead and add allowance. So I'm going to cut out our pattern for you to see. So now at this point, this is our lapel jacket, the front side. So this is what is going to, by the time you fold it over, this is what it looks like. Now, one thing you should do is, remember I told you the wideness is totally optional and it depends on you. So around here, if you find this too wide, you can go ahead and adjust it to the point where you want. And then this Revere collar is supposed to sit this way. Hold on. So it's supposed to sit this way, like so, and it will sit nicely. Let me adjust the curve here, like so. Then it will turn over here. This side will turn over towards the back side. Now this side is supposed to be folded like this towards the back side, right? So this is how it's supposed to sit. You just match. You can see these lines that we have here. I'm going to match it. So by the time I have my back side, this side would turn towards the back, like so. Because it's a paper, it's not turning nicely the way I want it to, but then this is what it should be. If you have a problem with how pointed this is, you can go ahead and adjust. If you have problem with the width of this, you can go ahead and adjust. But then this is what you should be having for your collar. Now you're going to go ahead and add like half of an inch sewing allowance round both on the collar as well. So don't forget to add your grain lines to everywhere around your collar. If not, you're most likely going to make mistake. So guys, this is it about our lapel jacket and a Revere collar. If you do find this video helpful, do ensure to give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I have a new video up on the channel, which is going to be a 3-piece suit cutting or drafting. So see you guys in my next tutorial. Don't forget to remain somatized. Bye.